Ah, London. It seems every trip I make to England must begin in London. For those who have never enjoyed the splendor of this great city, I suggest getting a good map and just start walking. From Tower Bridge to Trafalgar Square, you will find countless people out enjoying the sights. But for this trip, I find it's time to leave the fast pace of city life and head out into the country, where there is plenty of room to roam. My adventure begins about 100 miles southwest of London, in the county of Kent. A starting point only a few hours by train, but in a time thousands of years ago. So let's start down the path, known as the Ridgeway.
Ridgeway is one of 13 national trails in England. National trails have been set up as long-distance routes for walkers and, where appropriate, cyclists and horse riders through some of the finest landscapes in England. There's a great range of prehistoric sites along the whole length of the Ridgeway, in fact. The Ridgeway starts in a World Heritage Site of Avebury with its fantastic circle of stones. That is thought to be late Bronze Age. Then we've got a range of Iron Age forts, castles along the Ridgeway, but as you go east, those prehistoric monuments still exist. They're perhaps less well known, but we've recently had an archaeological survey done of the Ridgeway corridor, and amazingly, another 85 monuments have been discovered that have not been recorded previously. So the landscape around here is just steeped in marvellous history.
I start by walking around Silbury Hill, the largest man-made mound in all of Europe. No one knows just how old the Ridgeway really is, but chopping stones and axes have been found along the path that date back some 300,000 years, which gives the Ridgeway the title of the oldest road in Europe. Just across the way is the West Kennett Long Barrow, a burial site dating back to 4000 BC, and it is the largest barrow in all of Britain. All of the stones had to be brought to this site from miles away, and I wonder if that isn't what killed off the clan. Excavation of the site has revealed over 50 remains in the front 5 chambers, being placed here over a period of 1,000 years. Several chambers in the back have been left undisturbed. We venture on over hill and dale, enjoying an old country schoolhouse and clumps of beech on the hillside. It's been said that Europeans migrated and inhabited this area in 4000 BC. Although they're called kissing gates, I bypassed this welcoming committee and hope for better luck for the 70-some other gates along the way. Most old-growth tree stands hide a wealth of knowledge. This one overlooks the sarsen stones of Avebury. It was the people of the Bronze Age that brought 150-ton stones down from the hillside to create the Avebury Circle. The Avebury Stone Circle is the largest of its kind in Britain, and possibly the world. It dates to the Neolithic period, some 4,000 years ago, and it completely surrounds the charming village of Avebury, an area of about 24 acres. Avebury was an important tribal religious center, and is now a World Heritage Site. This hands-on experience of touching history made my mind see things in the stones that made my soul quiver, although the locals don't seem too overwhelmed. We march off to the east and climb the path once more. There are over 300 signposts and other signs along the way, so the chances of getting lost are minimal. During the length of the Ridgeway, you will see the path takes on many forms. In this section, it's called a heer path because it's wide enough to march an army. I didn't hear any rattling swords, but the birds flying out of the grass gave my heart a workout more than once. The Ridgeway gets its name because it follows a high chalk ridge that crosses the whole of England. Chalk is everywhere, along the path and in the fields. This provides good drainage to the soil and helps to keep the path dry. Here I am about to complete my first day on the Ridgeway. Down in the valley is a quaint little town. Farmers out in their field. Birds in the air. Hot air balloon ascending to the left. I'll tell you, it's an interesting place to be. The next morning takes me to Barbury Castle. As you soon see as you work your way up the steep slopes, that this area has a full view of the countryside around it and is strategically located as a defensive position. The Saxon chief Barrow defeated the Romans here around 560 AD and started the decline of the Roman Empire in Britain. After a quick look around, I was on my way again across the wide open turf gallops where the aristocracy and the local stable boy chum up for a morning ride. The gallops used for training the horses are well maintained. The views from the 700-foot ridge are spectacular. But soon enough, I'm back down in the valley, heading into Ogbourne St. George, the only town on the west part of the Ridgeway. It feels good to head into town for a quick bite to eat and a well-deserved rest. But I found that getting off the path means that I have to get back on again. And by this time, I've learned that all hills in England are up. The farmers' hedgerows along the fields provide many shades of green. The twists and turns make me slow down and appreciate every footstep. Popping out at the end of this hedgerow, I find myself looking out over the highest point along the Ridgeway. Here we have another kissing gate on our way to Liddington Castle Fort by a permission path.